we had heard Somak talk a little bit about Micro-VCs, and you covered that business a little bit. Talk about what are some thoughts about where that industry is now?
Yeah. So a year after this book came out, I started hearing about these Micro-VCs, or what some people refer to as super angels, right? Yeah. Angels evolved to super angels. Yeah, angels were basically, as you know, individuals. But then super angels became, these firms that raised small amounts of money. And I did a big story in Business Week about first round capital. First round capital, Josh Kaufman, are the guys who pioneered the space, right? And a tremendous group of people. And I went back and I read that story this morning, and the insight that Josh Koppelman had was that there was a math problem in venture capital. That coming out of the financial crisis, if you raised $1 billion fund, you had to get $6 billion in exits to actually produce a return for your investors. There weren't enough billion-dollar companies in that period to justify the large funds. So he went back to basics, and he raised a small fund. He raised like it was like I think 25 or 30 million. He's continued to do that. Other people have followed. But I think it's interesting that the lack of billion-dollar companies is really not a problem anymore. So the problem that Micro-VC was designed to solve really no longer exists. So that's why you see Micro-VCs growing in size and kind of coming into like the lower end of like the traditional VC firm business. And then you also see the bigger firms coming down into the smaller end of the spectrum, because it's all about getting in early. That's what the other thing the Micro-VCs realize is, it's not so much about getting the financial part right, but in terms of attracting the entrepreneurs and setting yourself up for success, you need to get in early. So they were able to get in early. They got into Uber early, and they got into many other companies early. So the bigger firms realized they couldn't afford to wait for the Series A round. They needed to get into the seed or the pre-seed, otherwise they would lose a seat at the table. So that's a big shift. The lines are blurring basically, and there'll be increasing competition.